Okay, dear viewers, followers, welcome to today's episode. As usual, every day we come to give you updates on solar fight and other related issues as business management is concerned. And so, if you have not watched the previous episodes, you can get there to know what we started discussing going the series. Yesterday, we talked about what is solar fight and what is solar fight Ohada, and we discussed Ohada and its place. Today, we'll continue from where we ended yesterday. And today, our focus is to make you have a proper understanding of what solar fight is. With me, as usual, we have one of our staffs, Madam Mom, and she'll be taking us for this session. She'll be asking us questions, and we provide you answers so that you have an understanding. Meanwhile, at the same time, if you have your own answers, please just ask, and we'll try to give you feedback or response to them. Also, if you're joining us for the first time, I will either you should like, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification button so that anytime we upload new videos, new content, you'll be notified. So, without much ado, Madam Mom, thank you and welcome.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we'll start today by asking our first question, which goes: if a business already uses Excel, Search, QuickBooks, or Odoo, why would it need SolarFight?
Yes, today we want to help you understand the place of SolarFight amidst so many other softwares. Basically, we have other softwares in the market like QuickBooks, we have Odoo, we have Search, and many others softwares. These are accounting software, but the question that we are trying to answer, or we'll be giving you a response today, is why use SolarFight? Now, the first thing, as you will know, is SolarFight is Ohada native. And what do I mean by Ohada native? Which means that SolarFight's primary setup and framework is based on Ohada accounting. And remember, Ohada stands for the accounting framework used by some African businesses, I think 18 countries that they're using. This framework gives them how they should report their financial statement or how they should present their financial statement, and equally the different classes of account that are there. Basically, Ohada has 9 classes, and class 1 to class 7 are the most important that handles daily operations. Now, with class 1, we say class 1 handles aspect like capital. Class 2 has to do with assets, whether fixed assets, current assets, and the rest. That is where they are being handled. Class 3 talks about inventory, anything inventory. Class 4 is about third party. Third party here, we're talking about customers, we're talking about suppliers, we're talking about employees, and all of that. They form the third party and more. Class 5 is about money and bank, anything related to cash, anything related to finances is handled in class 5. And class 6 handle all expenses, the different categories of expenses that a business will incur, like purchases, like administrative expenses, like rents, bills, salaries, and all of that. These are handled in class 6. And then class 7 is about revenue, whether it's sales and anything related to sales, any money that's coming into the business. Now, regardless of which business you operate, I think these are the cardinal aspects that each business has assets, or every business has assets. It has maybe inventory or services. It all depends on the nature of the business. It has customers, suppliers, or so people that you sell your products to them. It has receive money, whether you call it funds, you call it revenue, you call it income, you call it sales, or whatsoever. And that money is stored in class 5, so to say. Then either it's in terms of cash or through bank, through check, through crypto, or whatever medium. That is handled in class 5. And then class 6, we said, handle all expenses. So regardless of which domain. So this is the setup of Ohada. And by default, when you are doing your transactions in SolarFi, they are handled using this different categorization to make reporting easy. Now that is unlike the other softwares that do not have this categorization. Now, like I said, if you have listened to a previous video, I told a story of a friend who got sick because he was over labored due to him having to take reports and transactions from other softwares like QuickBooks, Search, uses Search, and bring them back to Excel, input in Excel to reformat and get the reports. That brings to a repetition of tasks. Also, we see errors coming and many other things that will come from you taking data from one system to another and much more. Those who use Excel as a system also face challenges because there's no scalability. You have issues of monitoring and evaluation and things like that. You cannot do real-time audit trail and many others that are not absent. So the question, why should somebody use SolarFi, boils down to the fact that one, it is designed for OHADA uh, primarily, but not only. And secondly, you are able to have a comprehensive visibility and control of what is happening in your business. You can know who did what when and who is operating. You can also decide who sees what within the business. And so there's that user rule access to information. And so you can decide that somebody view and not change anything. It all depends on what you want to achieve. So that is what SolarFi brings to the table. We say that other softwares do not. Well, softwares do, but most softwares also are standalone. When you say it's an accounting software, you discover that it's only accounting. But SolarFi goes further because it is beyond accounting. It has all the other modules that will help an organization to run efficiently. For instance, we have human resource and payroll, which is embedded. And so as you pay your workers, that data is already populated into your accounting report. We have your POS if you are selling as maybe a supermarket, your data is already populated to the right accounts and to the reports. And so we see these different modules. If you want something for budgeting, you have it. We've talked about human resource. We want to track attendance and many others. So it's beyond accounting only, but bringing you ready-made reports as OHADA accounting is concerned.
Okay, thank you for your response, which means we had Solar Fight is the main thing about Solar Fight is that it's oriented towards other accounting,
Exactly.
unlike other softwares. So we'll move on to our second question, which says, which what is actually wrong with the way many African businesses currently manage their finances and operations?
Yes, that's an interesting question, and I believe that we might not answer all of it today because we have a whole discussion. Maybe next episode or later we'll be discussing that. But I'll give a preview to our answer. Now, most businesses within the African context, they suffer multiple issues, and one of the issues is the lack of systems. Now, for a business to scale and grow big, you need systems and standardized processes. But most businesses do not. Now, if you look at most businesses, what the business owners do is that most often they're either using notebooks to record their transactions, or they're using Excel to record their transactions, and majority do not even use anything. And the consequence of this is that they cannot take decisions based on data. Everything is based on guesswork. A company selling products and they finish while they're not aware that this product is getting to, maybe it's already finished. They will only go when a customer comes in to say, I want to buy this. Oh, it's not there. But if you have a system, that system will be able to notify you before that product even gets to a certain point, maybe the minimum level. That's what SolarFi brings. The second thing that is also prominent and common is that you may have products that get expired, you're not aware. Apart from products getting finished, you can expire and you're not aware. And so you are just selling and selling. So there is that issue of not being informed about what is happening in the business. How many customers, who owes you, and when is the money due? You always stored it in your brain or Excel, maybe a WhatsApp, because you say the person say, get to me on this particular day. And so there's that disjointed, fragmented nature of data. And today, if a business is not using data, the consequence is that the business cannot optimize and get a certain level of efficiency. Now, some managers and CEO complain that softwares are expensive. They cannot afford. But the truth is that if you evaluate the cost of not getting a system to input in your business, you'll discover that it is far higher than even what you pay for the system. You are paying for visibility, you are paying for control, for automation, you are paying for. And when you put all of this, it comes back to say that whatever you want to pay for software, it is far more less than. And apart from that, there are softwares that you can basically use like SolarFi. We have the free module that you can use it so long as you're a business of a certain category, you are not making up to a certain maybe sales or transactions a month, you can still use it for free. So it gives you that possibility to manage your business and have a good proper understanding. So they complain, and another reason people complain about their business not using software is that, well, my business is too small. Now, one of the reasons your business is not doing well is because you think that it's too small, and because you believe that it's small, you are not using system to optimize. And so businesses cannot grow without systems, and systems are best implemented with digitalization and the use of software. So in sum, disjointed data, we have maybe records in Excel, we have some in WhatsApp, we have some in Notebook, and all of this information is not good for businesses to grow and scale.
Okay, thank you. So our third question is the problem really lack of software, or is it that the accounting system and the actual business operations are disconnected?
I think we will not think that, I don't want to think that it's about software. We started by mentioning different softwares like Odoo and the rest. Okay, those softwares are foreign. Some people may want, they don't even know that they exist. Some people may want, they cannot even know how, they don't even know the possibility of paying. And so software may be, to me, software is a problem, but to a lesser extent. What is actually the problem is the willingness to use a system that most people do not see the value. And since they don't see the value, it works against them significantly. There are different softwares that are available. Now, one of the things we are trying to solve is depending on foreign softwares that may not equally understand your business. We are bringing a software that understands your business that can have immediate support. You can just get on WhatsApp, you will be given support. That is different from dealing with QuickBooks that you may not have immediate interaction with the organization if there are issues. So software is not a major problem because there are many. Even just to manage your inventory, you have so many. Unlike now, Solafide is not only bringing just not accounting, it brings beyond accounting. And one of our beliefs is that technology plus people equals to organizational excellence. You need to use technology in an organization to be successful. At the same time, you need to empower your staff to be able to use this technology for success. So we basically believe that technology plus people empowered equals to organizational excellence. And there cannot be a successful organization without great staff, and there cannot be a great organization without the use of technology. So these two factors are complementary. They're not kind of substitutes. So that is what we're trying to preach to businesses. That's why we're trying to empower businesses on daily and to educate them also to know the place that a software or digitalization of their activities will bring.
Okay, thank you. So what you're saying, the problem is not actually the lack of software.
Yes.
Is that the softwares are there, some people are not willing to use it, or because they don't just see the value.
Yes, I think that some people they have not counted the cost of not using a software
Okay.
to compare even when we maybe paying for a software.
So
And much more. There are softwares that are even free. So it's about habits. I think that African businesses, if they want to scale and compete globally, they must understand the place of digitalization as this is very, very vital for you to succeed in business, whether it's a small business or a big organization.
okay. Can you show us what happens in Solafide when a customer buys a product from the sale to inventory to accounting?
Yes, the way Software has been designed as a system is that the first thing you do is that we start tracking your activities even from when the customer shows interest or sees your activities or your services online. And how is this done? The first thing is that we have the customer relationship model. We basically track customers, potential clients, and it works through maybe from a prospect to maybe making submitting proposal, submitting bills, and negotiating and converting or following up of this client, converting the client to now a paid a client. So a client, we consider a client or a customer is somebody who we have already agreed that I will offer you this particular service for this amount, and you people have agreed. Either you have offered the service and been paid, or you are in the process. Now the system gives you room to draft quotations and estimates and share with your customers. You can go the back and forth and edit. That's one way. The second thing is that you can issue as a performance, the organization improves, and there's also a workflow. For instance, if you come to an organization and there is a procedure that somebody who drafts it will need to be approved by another person, reviewed and approved by another person. Solarfy gives that possibility that a cashier or a salesperson can issue an invoice and the marketing manager can approve it and so on and so forth. This is how work. And when that invoice has been approved and money is paid, the cashier can receive it and that money can also be paid in parts. So we keep tracking every activity. So if they come and you say, let's say 100,000 francs, is the bill and they pay 20,000. So you know that this person has paid 20,000 on this particular day, and this amount will be due on this particular day. The system keeps track of that. And if the day comes and you are not, you are forgotten, the system will notify you that the so bill of Mr. A, 80,000 francs is due today or before in 3 days' time, so that you can follow up and get that bill ready or follow or write or notify the client. Also, when you pay the client, you can send the client an invoice or receipt directly in the system. Maybe as you pay the client, an email is automatically sent to the client, or you can send it via WhatsApp, PDF, or whatsoever. That is taken care. Now, that information at the same time, the accounting part of it is handled for you, so that even if you are not an accountant, you can still have this data circulated and distributed across the whole entity. How is that happen? Once you have approved a transaction, it becomes an accounting record. So you acknowledge that this person is owing this amount. And once the person pay, there is that debit credit principle that's taken behind the scene. So you don't necessarily need to know. But what happens is that the right accounts are debited and those that to be credited are credited. And when that transaction gets to its final end, that information automatically is posted to the different reports. You have it in your trial balance, you have it in your ledger, you have it in your income statement, you have it in the balance sheet, so long as that report is the report that this data should be supplied. That happens for invoices, it happens for bills, it happens for purchases, it happens for inventory, and that is how the system works as one. It is a system that is generally connected and that every activity goes through to give us the ready-made, ready-to-use reports. You don't need to wait for 1 month or for a whole month to get or end of month to have a report on what is happening with the business. You can just come and say, give me a report for today, give me a report for the past 1 week, give me a report for 1 month for the last quarter. Why? Because the system is automated. So there's a lot of automation within the system such that accountants can be in a company and not really having to do debit credit. You only have to review and analyze the business and see what needs to be done. So that is how Solarfy functions. And I think that with this video also, there are demos in our YouTube channel, so you can go and check out and see how the workflow is while we are still uploading more videos on different aspects of how Solarfy work and business management in general.
Oh, wow. So what happens when a business has thousands of transactions? Does the accountant still have to enter everything manually?
Now, if you have thousands of transactions, like I said before, you don't need to enter them manually. There are two ways. Let's assume that these transactions were you record them in Excel, and you come now to Solarfy. The only thing you can do is that you format them according to how Solarfy you want to receive the data and upload it. That can be done with the click of a button. So regardless of how many transactions you have, that's one thing. The second thing is that we have tried to reduce repetition of tasks and to optimize the whole system and automate a lot of things, making it easier such that from sales, as sales are taking place, I said that information is already, that's why there's a workflow that it needs to be approved to know that this transaction is valid. But even in case you make a mistake, there is room for you to do reversals and many other, you can void a transaction and all of that is taken into account. And we have a lot of audit trail, which tracks, like I said, who did what, when, and what action was done. And so if I create an invoice and that person approves it, there is separation of who created the invoice and when I created it, who approved it and when it was approved, and who posted it and when it was posted, and so on and so forth. That structured approach makes it easier for the organization to have real-time reports that are valid and reliable. And at the same time, you don't have to come and do sales and maybe at the end of the month before the accountant comes and evaluate the current state of the stock. No, you go to your stock, you see the value as of that particular day. It's not that you get to the end of the month. We use what we call the perpetual inventory valuation approach, where inventory is updated instantly as transactions are going up, and when you buy, when you sell, those things are taken care of immediately.
Okay. One thing you have emphasized is OHADA. Why is choosing an OHADA focused accounting system important for a business in Cameroon and the wider OHADA region?
Now, this comes down to the simple word compliance. Compliance. Businesses, especially within the other zone and international worldwide, are expected to follow some certain practices and norms. OHADA is not only for accounting; it has to do with the legal, the business law that handles whatever business that are operating in Cameroon and beyond. It also is the expectation. For instance, in Cameroon, before you prepare their final tax declaration documents, not often called as DSF, what happens is that you must prepare your reports following the OHADA, which means they expect that all your sales should be in class 7, all your expenses in class 6, all your this in class this, your customers and the rest. And so that is expected for your income statement, expected for your balance sheet, and so on. And so this system automatically gives you that. You don't need to go and hire an accountant or a consultant at the end of the month to come and do these transactions for you. And at the end of the year, you just have to go into Solafide and export the complete tax declaration documents and go. For instance, all the pages are there. You can export them and review them. You can review them and edit them or update them accordingly, because this all automation. We also believe that human input is always vital to review, because there can be data entry errors and many others. So you export the documents, you will not have to go back and be using Excel to input this data. We have structured the system to simplify. So paying an accountant who will spend a lot of nights, long hours, trying to retake the data from account or QuickBooks or do and the rest Excel format in OHADA is wastage of economic time and value that can be translated to other business ventures, getting more customers and serving the customers and getting your data. So that is the main idea, and that is the practice, that is the belief that we are bringing to the system. We want to reduce the burden so that organizations should focus on what? Getting more customer, maybe doing their production rather than managing books and managing records and trying to manage all of these things manually and so on and so forth.
Okay, so the emphasis on OHADA is with respect to compliance.
Yes.
So can Solafide actually generate the DSF from the financial records, and what work does that save an accountant or accounting firm?
Yes, the quick answer would be yes. And in terms of what does it do or save, it saves a lot of time. Remember my story I told you about a friend, and he got sick, but we solidified. We don't want somebody to go to the hospital again because the person was inputting data. And accounting consulting should not be reduced to data entry. That is what we are saying. And accounting consulting should be analyzing and telling us that this is, and even the ratios, we are able to say, okay, our quick ratio is this, our this is that. It should be about financial decision making rather than data entry. And so it saves, for instance, in a week, if you're using Solar it saves you more than close to 40 hours of accounting work, because from sales, from purchases, every accounting transaction or entry is already taken note. And so you see a lot of time cut down for accountants. Assume that you have to save your worker close to 40 hours in a work week. That's basically saying that within the number of hours the person can be working, accumulate all the work that the person has to do in terms of data entry, is allowed maybe 8 hours instead of spending 6 days or 5 days inputting data. That is a lot of time that is a lot of time put at the disposal of this staff to think of the betterment of the organization rather than inputting data. So there is much more safe in terms of time and efficiency and optimization and compliance and transparency, control, visibility that SolarPipe brings. So all of these are embedded in the system. So there is transparency because we can know who did what and when. There is control because we can determine who sees what and who can do what within the system. And also there is accountability and there is compliance. So I think that all of that is, I don't know if we can easily value in terms of monetary. And today, even with the use of AI, it goes further because, like I said, even if you want to use the system as a non-accountant and you were not even recording the transactions as we expected through invoices and the rest, you can use the AI module and still get good reports. How is that possible? Now, we have embedded within the Solidify system the AI module, which basically helps us in data entry. For instance, let's assume that you bought paper from company B, company ABC, or you bought paper from First Links, and the paper was worth 200,000. And when you bought the paper, you came and you don't know the accounting recordings to do. You tell Solafy that I bought paper from First Links, which is a client registered within the system, that I paid First Links 100,000 cash. Then I transferred 50,000 via bank, and 50,000 was 20,000 was paid via Momo, and I'm still to pay 30,000 or so, whatever amount that is left. You've just narrated that transaction without being an accountant. Solafy automatically studies the transaction and say, okay, it means we have to debit this, credit this. All the accounts that are involved in these transactions are automatically taken care of. So are you an accountant to do that? No, but we make it possible for you. So that means you basically have a platform that acts as an accountant, acts as a consultant, and acts as what? An advisory, maybe to an extent. So basically, that is what Solafy is out to do. Make business management efficient, make business management transparent, make business management optimized, and bring what? Accountability and, I mean, generally efficiency to business.
So what happens when management wants to know right now how much money did we make or who owes us?
There's so many places in Solafy you can answer that question. You can go to the dashboard. How much I was made today, you'll be able to see that. You can go to reports with a click. You can go to sales reports, more than 150 something reports handling different aspects. Is it report? Is it sales report? Is it purchase report? Is it OHADA reports? Balance sheet income statement OHADA? And also we have the international reports. If you are thinking that you always OHADA, no. If you want to have a report based on international reporting standards, Solafy gives that. So with a click, you can get all types of report, who owes you, how much, and when is it supposed to do. And if you have also payment, you can also, for instance, if you have, can also do what? Come up with a payment plan, and the system will track that for you.
Okay. Can Solafy help a business owner identify problems they didn't even know they had? For example, slow moving stock, low margin products, excessive expenses, or decline sales?
That is what Stellafy is out to do. Now let's talk about the slow moving products. Like we said earlier, go to a pharmacy you are selling and discover that it's only when you want to go and check a product is not there. That is a problem. But with Solafy and with the power of AI and many other tools that were embedded in the system, you don't only track when this product will get expired, you track how fast you are selling the product. This is the product turnover rate. And we also have what we will say that number of days that it takes to sell a product, which tells you that there's a product has been in your share for 3 months, for 6 months, and that product is storing up a lot of capital, a lot of money that could have been used for other products that get finished and customer comes in. So Solafy helps you see that. It's a product about to get expired, you will get notification. It's a product taking too long to be sold, you get notification. And all of those reports are available. So you identify issues before they happen as Solafy is concerned. So in simple answer, the answer is yes to your question.
Okay, we have come to the last question of the day. If I'm currently using Excel and everything seems to be working, what will convince me that it's time for me to move to Solafy?
Good question. Now, before we decide whether you can move to Excel can you know which products within your system are about to expire if you are selling using inventory? Can you know which customers owe you and when due? Can you know who inputted a transaction and when was that transaction inputted? Do you have a way that sales, purchases, inventory all interact to give you a report? Are you struggling with multiple Excel sheets rather than managing? Are you managing Excel rather than managing your business? Because you keep having to be creating new sheets and trying to see, and even with that, you discover that as the business grows. Do you want to scale? Do you want scalability in your business? Do you have access? Can others use the same Excel and you have the same data real time? We mentioned the aspect of people using the system, even if they're not, for instance, if you are out of the country, you monitor what is happening in your business, even if you're not there. Can you do that with Excel? I guess it's relatively difficult. Can you be able to assign different roles to different people within your Excel? I equally think that that might not be very possible. Well, Excel is good, but Excel is a versatile software. And like most versatile software, they are giving you basics. They don't give you the full control that you need as a business owner, as a business that wants to scale, as a business that wants to manage human resource, manage sales, manage inventory, manage clients, manage suppliers, manage different assets, manage bank, do bank reconciliation and the rest. It's pretty difficult to do that in a scalable way. You will spend a lot of time trying to manage your Excel rather than managing your business. And that is what we don't want for you. So if that were some of the challenges and questions you are unable to answer vividly, then it means Solafide can be the best solution for you at the moment. So we come to the end of today's episode, and we are happy that you're there. And thank you, Madam Wan, for always being there. And I think we have helped our listeners and our viewers online, our subscribers, to have an understanding of how Solafide works. And watch out, subscribe and like and share and click the notification button so that we keep you informed about updates in Solafide. One of the things we do is that we're building a den. And what is the idea? We believe that we want customers to have a wow experience when they're using Solafide. We go do the research for them. We do the heavy lifting so that you just manage your business with ease. And so, if you have not tried Solafide, you can still try it for free. Go to solafideonline.com and create an account and start using it for free. When you feel that it's giving you a lot of value, you can now maybe try to decide to go in for the basic model. And regardless of your business size, you can use Solafide. You can use it on your phone. You can use it online. You can use it in a different language, like say French. If you're a French speaker, you can easily use it. And you have different staff. You can use it in the different languages, and you still have your reports and everything accordingly. Which means if you have 10 branches in Cameroon, if you have branches, you can also use it so you can still reach that branches and see updated and consolidated income. If you have workers that are working remote, they can still be working within Scholarify and doing whatever they have to do real time. So give a try to Scholarify, and we would like to see you and answer your questions and challenges. But much more, become part of the community. And if you're looking for opportunity to grow Scholarify to take it to other parts of the world, maybe take it to different countries, we're open for partnerships, and we have good partnership programs that you can check our websites and have it. Until then, bye-bye for today's episode.